Hello silver friends, this is Joli from QuickSilverHair, and today I want to share the 5 reasons that you may not be ready to ditch the dye. These are reasons that people hesitate, and I get it, I understand, I went through some of them myself. Ditching the dye is a very personal experience. It can be emotional and it can be scary for some people. So I feel like this is really important information to share because many of us have already been down this road and we have been through it. If you are a silver sister already and you have already ditched the dye and you have been through this process, I would love it if you stuck around and listened to this video so that you could share your experiences with these reasons, because I'm sure just like me, many of you also had these reasons in the back of your mind to not ditch the dye. And if you made it through that process, I would love for you to share in the comments so that the community at large can learn from all of us how we got through the process. Number 1 is your profession. It's entirely possible that you are in a field where you are expected to look a certain way. There are many professions out there where there are unwritten rules in the office that women are to have straight hair, no roots showing, and to be presentable at all times. Some of this is sort of antiquated and old school, however, it still exists. It's still happening. And I get it why this would be a major hesitation, because no one wants their income entangled with their hair color. We would never want to lose our job over our hair color. So I really understand this one, even though it was not something that I went through because I work from home and I don't have anybody expecting my hair to look a certain way, except for when I sit down in front of a camera now. So I do understand that side of it, that when you sit down in a space where you are presenting yourself to others, that you would want to look a certain way. So I ditched the dye 10 years ago, and in the last 10 years, I have watched the trend go up and up and up for gray hair being more acceptable. And there was one blessing in disguise during lockdown. Many people ditched the dye and emerged from lockdown with silvers shining. And I think it just was acceptable. Nobody really blinked an eye at it because it was just part of something that we all went through together. So I think some of this is lifting. Some of this issue with a woman looking professional with dyed hair is kind of a thing of the past. I would say if you are in a professional environment and you are considering this and you're worried about it, look to those around you, look to the people that you work with. If, for instance, there's a woman in your office that has embraced her silver hair, go to her, say, listen, I love your hair, I'm considering doing the same thing, and I would love to chat with how it's affected you in the workplace, if it has affected you at all. You'd be surprised how willing people are to talk to you about that and share with you their experiences. If you are looking for a job and you're concerned about the transition process while you're on the job hunt, you might consider wearing root touch-up or something for your interviews, or you might consider not worrying about it at all, because I can tell you that many hiring managers are not that concerned about it. It's not something that they're looking at. They're looking at your resume. They're looking at whether you're qualified for the job or not. One of the things you can do is join our community on Facebook. We have a group that I'll link in the description box below. There are many people there that got jobs during their transition, and I'm sure they would be happy to share their experiences with you. Number 2 is the beauty myth, that your hair color is linked to your sense of beauty in some way. I get this. We have been indoctrined by advertising, social media, influencers, family, even our hairstylists, that our hair color somehow makes us more beautiful. I would encourage you to look out there in the world at women with gray hair. Start really looking. You can get on Pinterest. I have boards that are full of gorgeous women with silver hair who have embraced it, and they look absolutely stunning. They look amazing. So this is really just a myth in my book. There are 5 hair colors in the world. There is black, brown, red, blonde, and gray. And gray covers a huge spectrum of colors. So I would encourage you to investigate why you think gray isn't beautiful, because there's a lot of examples out there to bust that myth. Number 3 is ageism. This is a real one. This is going to be something that a lot of people struggle with because we have been indoctrined, just like beauty, to believe that age and hair color are somehow interlinked. I started going gray when I was 13, and I can guarantee you nobody thought I looked old. So I have a kickback on this one because I think it's one of the biggest myths that has been perpetuated about gray hair ever. And if you go way, way back to advertising before dyes became mainstream and easily accessible, there was advertising about looking youthful with your silver hair. There was advertising about looking your best with your silver hair. So I would encourage you, when you're looking at those images of women and how beautiful they look with their gray hair, try to guess their age. See if you can guess. There is a book by a woman named Anne Kramer, and she did a little experiment to see if people actually looked older with gray hair, and what she found is they looked their age. So this is a huge myth, and it's something that we have just been fed over and over and over again to the point that we believe it. So it's a place where I would really encourage you to investigate if it's true or not. Number 4 is believing that it will be too much maintenance to care for gray hair. I will contest this because this is what I do. I teach people how to care for their gray hair. And while it is new and it is some things to unpack that you don't know about and that you have to learn, it is not any more maintenance than dyeing your hair. You don't have to go to the salon anymore and dye your hair. You don't have to go buy box dye. You don't have to go through the time, the money, and all of that processing to dye your hair. And while you're dyeing your hair, you are doing things as far as maintenance is concerned to maintain the dye and not allow it to fade or get damaged between dye jobs. So you're talking about things like not swimming. Maybe you're concerned about scheduling things like weddings and anniversaries and vacations around your root line so that it doesn't show up in pictures. There's buying specific products that are color safe and using those to care for your hair. So right now, with dyed hair, you are in a maintaining space. You are maintaining that look. It's just a different maintenance. It has some things that need to be done, and you can stick around my channel and learn all about them. I firmly believe that you can set up a really simple and easy routine, knowing exactly what you need to do to protect your hair. And once you do that, it'll be so much easier than you ever imagined. Number 5 is believing that Mother Nature doesn't know what she's doing. I will say there is absolutely no way you could get this from a box. There is no way I could have ever made my hair look like this with dye. And I think that Mother Nature knows exactly what she's doing. Your DNA is written for your hair, your skin, and your eyes to match. And I've heard women say they were scared to embrace their silvers because they thought it wasn't going to match their skin tone, or they thought it was going to wash them out. And I have never ever seen that to be true. When we are washed out, often it does have to do with our makeup choices or our colors of clothing more than it has to do with our hair color. I do believe that Mother Nature never gets it wrong, and that what she paints for us is absolutely glorious. If you never ditch the dye, you'll never know what your silver hair looks like. And I know this because I attempted to ditch the dye many times, and these hesitations got in my way, and I went back to dyeing my hair. But in those times that I gave up the dye for a short period of time, I would have never ever guessed that it was going to look like this. It took me fully giving up the dye and growing my hair out to know that this is what it was going to look like. So I encourage you to give it a shot at least once, because you'll just never know until you get there. And once you get there, if you hate it, you know exactly what to do. You can go back to dyeing your hair. So join us on Facebook in the group that I'm involved with. I'll link it in the description box below. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by how many beautiful and supportive women are in this group, and how many of them have gone through the very same hesitations and made it through. Again, if you have gone through this process and you've made it through those hesitations and you're watching this video, please comment below. Share with us your experience. If you're in the throes of this and you are hesitating, Share your experiences in the comments. We would love to talk to you about it. And that's one of my favorite things about doing videos, is being able to talk to you about the topics that I bring up. While you're down there, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so now, because I would love to see you next time. Until then, shine on.